And the next voice you hear after this little bit of music will be that of SOTU. Thank you, Josh. Here we go.
The challenge is for each and every one of you. The challenge is, each of you has your own connection to the divine. Each of you has your own purpose of being here at this very crucial time in human transformation. Each one of you. Even if you don't know what it is at the moment, you all have a shared, you have an individual as well as a collective destiny. Question is what you're going to do with it. Reality is really quite malleable. It is, your future is going to be dependent upon the choices that you make, internally, externally, and putting those choices into action. But to put something into action means that you must commit yourself.
Right.
And that's the last thing you wish to do, is commit yourself. Maybe you should all be committed, but...
No, I can understand. I can feel within myself the resistance to making commitments and making forward steps.
Oh, yeah, because you might make the wrong choice, right? Right? And then once you make one choice, you can't go back and make any other choice, can you? It's always one direction. It's always got to be, your integrity has to be such that you're perfect, that your words, your actions match your words perfectly. How many of you do that?
I know. Walk your talk. It's time to walk the talk.
That's also such an empty cliche, is it not?
Well, it has. Yes, hello. We have a comment calling in saying hi. We're saying hi back.
Go ahead.
Well, the possibility, I know within myself the resistance, and I say there's got to be a way past this.
Oh, of course there is a way past this, but doesn't it take claiming the actuality of your reality? In other words, you play all of these conceptual games with yourself. You play all these dynamics of mind games with yourselves, and yet you don't spend much time trying to figure out what the reflection of reality tells you. If those of you that have a basic understanding of how the divine works within the dynamics of the physical know that the reflections of your reality are basically a constant, what shall we say, movement forward in the reflection of your soul. The reflection of the consensus reality and how you interpret it is a direct language from your soul to you. And at the same time, it is up to you to interpret the dynamic of the bigger picture.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the dynamics that you are facing right now. You are taking a whole situation where there has been a great deal of dishonesty, a great deal of manipulation, a great deal of control being foisted upon you, especially for the past 7-8 months, certainly since the winter solstice of 2019, it really began to ramp up at that point. But truly, whether the dynamics were ultimately a mistake, or is there really any mistakes in the movement of divinity? Is there really any mistakes in the dynamics of growth? Or are you, each time that you move forward, are you given the opportunity to make a different choice, to be more? And so that's what's going on so much in your world right now. You are, so many of you, those that listen to us all the time know that we keep saying the basic question is, who is it that you're going to be? Who is it you're going to be as individuals, and who is it that you're going to be as a species? Now, at the same time, we almost always tag on the whole situation of that the old paradigm has been one of competition and comparison, and a new paradigm could be one of caring, connection, and compassion. All right, but how do you get from the one to the other? And you get to the one to the other by changing your mindset, by a simple statement such as, an advanced civilization measures itself by how well the least of its people are doing, not the best, automatically sets a template of understanding that goes beyond the dynamic of the simple words. Mm-hmm. That if you stop and you take it, that meaning, what that really means, then that means that an advanced civilization would provide at very least a safety net for all of its people. And in this paradigm, it could be a dynamic of food, water, shelter, healthcare, and education. Okay?
Basically, everybody has a.
If you have those
start.
5 things, you will all have an equal start, and you will just consider it. You could all have an equal start. You are inherently competitive, and so in the dynamic of your competitiveness with each other, the dynamic would be more along a positive timeline rather than a negative one. How well the least of you are doing. So you're always seeking to raise the standard of living, the standard of understanding of the least of you, and at the very same time giving those of you that wish to be more in that area the opportunity. So in many ways, it is the beginning of the best of both worlds, because that's what's being presented to you now. It either seems to be a dynamic of individuality, which is expressed through the dynamic of nationalism, and collectivism or socialism, which is expressed through more the dynamic of globalism. Right, and so in many ways that's a reflection that is presented to you in that sort of dynamic. Now, neither point of view is completely correct, and neither point of view is completely wrong. So if you can figure out what the dynamic ultimately is and look at it clearly from both ends of the paradox, then you can be able to suddenly have an experience of rising above to a third position and knowing the truth, that the truth would be a mixture of the 2 points of view, therefore creating a new and expanded version of the truth.
So I just had an imagining of what if we started to compete in seeing that the least of us.
Or you try to compete for curing cancer, or you try to compete along the lines of free energy, or you try to compete along the lines of better communication, or you try to compete along the lines of heart-centered technology. So as to make life easier for all of you. But that would mean that you would all have to, what shall we say, be open enough to each other to realize that you are all sparks of the divine, that there is something that makes you all the same, no matter what the color of your skin, no matter what your origin, no matter what your beliefs. You are all human.